Welcome to Everyday Linux User. In today's video I'm going to show you how to verify the ISO image that you download for any particular Linux distribution. So for the purpose of this video we're going to be using Windows. I will do a future guide showing how to do the same thing using Linux, but for this one we're going to be using Windows, and specifically we're going to start off with Linux Mint 21.3. So I've already downloaded the ISO image, which I will show you here. So there you can see the Cinnamon ISO image. I've also downloaded MX Linux as well, KDE version. So here's the Linux Mint version. So if we go down here and we go into the download, you'll see there's this integrity and authentication, and if we click here it gives you a key for each of the versions that are available. So I've downloaded the 64-bit ISO, and there's the key that we're looking for. So what I've actually done is I've gone into ChatGPT and I've asked the question, using Windows, how do I verify the Linux Mint ISO? And this is a great use of ChatGPT, or you can use Google Gemini and it will give you the same options. So one of the things it does, it says you can install a file hash checker. So there's any one of these ones here, and the one we're going to be using is the Windows command line. So there's a tool called certutil, and this will save you having to install any extra software. If we open up a command window, so you press the start button, type cmd, and you can see the command that you have to run there. So if we go cd into downloads, so all we need to do is if we do dir, there's the ISO image, and all we have to do is type certutil and its hash file, the name of the ISO image, and the encryption mechanism. So in this case it's SHA-256, and it's produced this key here. So if we now go back to this window here and we put this over the top, and you'll see that 5AA24ABBC, and it looks the same, and that's what you're checking, is that this string here matches this string here, and you can see that it does. So that verifies that the ISO image is okay. And the importance of this is, if you've downloaded an ISO image, you can imagine that Linux Mint is available on lots of different websites around the world, and so you choose the location that's nearest to you, and if a bad actor has managed to get onto that server and put in a bad version of the ISO image, then you'll download it thinking that you've got a good Linux Mint, and you install it, and it could be all sorts of things in that package. But by verifying the ISO image with this SHA, essentially you can confirm that the ISO image matches the key. Now there's one further step here, and that is, how do you know the key itself is okay? In this case, because the SHA-256 is on the Linux Mint web server and the ISO you've downloaded is on a different web server, it gives you an added level of protection, because if they were both on the same server, you had the ISO and the key on the same server, then the bad actor that put the ISO image up could also put the key up onto the same server as well. In this case, because the web server of Linux Mint is different from the web server that you're downloading from, you can be assured that the key matches and it's fine. Now there is this extra step, which is the GPG check, and that's where this set of instructions here comes in. So what we want here is a tool called GPG for Win, and what this step's going to do is verify that the actual key is actually the valid key, so giving you that even further extra level of security. So here we are on the GPG for Win website, and we can click this download button here. It's got a donation thing on it, so you just select 0 if you want to, and then click download. And I click the executable there. Select yes at this question. I'm going to minimize this so it's easier to see. I'll minimize this and this as well. So select OK for the installer language, click next, next, and install. So now click next again, and then if we press finish, it will run GPG for Win. Okay, so if we go back to the Linux Mint website now that we've installed GPG for Win, what we're going to do is right click on that and save link as. And you see I've already done it, but you just hit save, and then if you right click on this and we do save link as, and again we save it as sha25sum.txt and save it as a GPG file. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again, but you would just hit save there. And then if we go to the ChatGPT window, what we want to do is we want to open up a command prompt and cd to the downloads folder, and you copy this command first, and you can see it says total number processed 1 and 1 unchanged, and then you copy this code here, and what this is going to do is verify that the checksum file was valid as well, and as long as you see the words good signature here, then everything is good. You may have seen earlier that I'd also downloaded MX Linux, so here I am on the MX Linux web page and I'm on the download leak section, and I've downloaded the KDE version. So if we go down to here, and you can see there's a how to verify the ISO, and we can verify the checksum here, and these are the different versions. So the MD5 sum there, or the SHA sum here, and so what I can do is I can go to my command prompt, clear the screen again, and I'm going to do certutil -hash file and mx23.3 underscore KDE underscore x64.iso, and we do SHA-256, and what we're looking for is this key here, and you can see this one starts E72C4745 and it ends in DCF592. You can put these into a file comparison tool, and if you want that extra level of comfort, but essentially you can see that the key looks perfectly fine. Now the person who asked me the question about verifying ISO images in the first place, they were looking at Peppermint Linux. So if I go to Peppermint OS, for this case I'm going to use the mini build, click accept. So you can see now that the Pep Mini has finished downloading up there. We've on this website here, you can see we've got this SHA checksum as well. Obviously I've downloaded the mini, so we want the one for mini, and you want it next to the site that you've downloaded from. So in this case, SourceForge. So if I click there, it's going to download the checksum file as well. You can see it quite well. So what we can do here is we can clear the screen, do a dir, and you can put the Pep Mini on. So if we type notepad on this, that, there's the key we're looking for. And now down here what we're going to do is certutil, find hash file, and we're going to type pep mini deb amd64.iso, and this time it's SHA-512 because you can see it says SHA-512 there. And if we compare the two strings, you can see 40B84650 like that, and it ends in CA14229, and it does. If you want to do again, you could put them into a file comparison tool or a string comparison tool and compare them that way, but you can see that we've got the 5152. Now these keys are very hard to make, so trying to get a duplicate checksum using a different file structure isn't going to work. If you it would take somebody quite a lot of effort to produce a key with exactly the same key using any other ISO image. So if your key matches this one, you should be assured that it's correct. The only reason it would be correct is if the person who'd managed to get the ISO image onto the site also put their own version of the key onto a site. But that's where Linux Mint have gone the extra step with the GPG key as well. And that's really the end of the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.